Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Trek Canon. So, today I am proud to be doing a review of the new series of Star Trek called Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Now, first of all, everybody who's familiar with my channel knows that if I happen to have this on, if I happen to have my Star Trek The Next Generation captain's outfit on, we're going to get into something really good today. All right, so Season 1, Episode 1 of Strange New Worlds, episode entitled Strange New Worlds, premiered today. Right after the Season 2, Episode 110 finale of Star Trek Picard, which I am going to get into because there is a lot to talk about with that as well. But I sat down skeptical when I first decided to watch this. All right, I sat down with the idea of past new treks in my head, having called them problem kids and everything like that. I had a notion, I had a ideal that, this probably isn't going to live up to the Star Trek that I know. Now, the thing that has always been a saving grace about the premiering and the making, actually, of Strange New Worlds was Anson Mount as Captain Christopher Pike, because he did such an outstanding job as Captain Christopher Pike in the second season of Discovery. Now, right off the bat, matter of fact, look, let me tell you something. They did an outstanding job. So there is so much that was great about this episode, okay? And please excuse the background noise because everybody was happy about this episode of Star Trek 2. So, check this out. The name of the episode, like I said, was Strange New Worlds. The beginning, the opening, it brought back the OG intro, man. Space, the Final Frontier. The way that they remixed the intro, the original series theme song for Strange New Worlds, also very well done. Look, in this episode, we pick up on Captain Christopher Pike living out in Montana and everything, and he's basically trying to escape Starfleet and everything because he's seeing his future, and everybody knows what that particular future is. All right, so he's basically like, look, I'm not going into space because if I don't go into space, that's not going to happen. But what ends up happening is that uh, April, Admiral April, which is a mainstay of old Trek as well, he ends up coming to meet up with Pike and basically give him orders that, you're gonna have to go out here and find number one because she's basically missing. All right, now what ends up happening is that we end up meeting the crew of the Enterprise. And the way that they did it wasn't your typical New Trek way of, at weird moments, everybody expounding, their little backstories or something like that. We met them in a real organic way. Every person, even the mainstay characters like Uhura, for instance, everybody was in their element in this episode, like from the writing to the production. It was in their element. Now, basically, what was going on is that it was a false first contact. And, I'm going to put spoilers here, but y'all know how I roll. Now, it was basically a false first contact situation that was happening where they picked up a warp signature and they go to initiate first contact. When I say they, this is number one and everything like that. And they brought back the OG one warp nacelle design too that was prominent in some of the artwork and some of the old tech manuals and everything like that. Now, what ends up happening is that this civilization is warring, and because of the events that happened in Discovery, they picked up on and analyzed and backward engineered warp technology. But typical of, we'll say, primitive societies, they decided to go the way of war and battle. So they built an actual warp bomb, which would have been very interesting to see in effect. But um, it, 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 I would love to have seen that in effect, but I'm glad they didn't. because that's kind of against Trek. I'm thinking a new Trek. Anyway, so what ends up happening is that Captain Christopher Pike basically and his crew have to go and get number one from the society that has basically taken her and figure out what's going on with this warp bomb. Now, what made this episode great? What made this episode great is they stuck so much to the foundation and principles of what Starfleet and what Star Trek was based upon. Star Trek was based upon holding a mirror, just like I always say, to the things that's going on in our society, whether it be political, whether it be racial, whether it be economic, all of those types of things. Now, in this particular episode, they were dealing with nuclear proliferation, all right? Basically, warring on your planet and how to absolve these things, that there's another way, a way out of it. Now, we got a chance to meet Dr. Mbatu, man, who I was surprised to even see. Okay, look, let me tell you guys something. For you guys who don't know, this is the doctor who basically is uh, he's the foremost Federation doctor on Vulcans. All right, even Bones references this guy when it comes to Spock. You know, when something's going on with Spock, he don't know. This is the person that usually squares that away. An episode that he was featured in was a mock time, I believe, where or I forget. I'll put it right here, but he was basically taking care of Spock and letting. No, it wasn't a mock time. That was when Spock was in this like meditative thing, man, and he was telling Nurse Chapel how if Spock come out this trance, man, just no matter what happens, no matter what he says, just do it. And he was like, "Yeah, smack me." And I ain't gonna smack me. So the doctor was always beating Spock up. But anyway, I put the name of the episode here as well. But for him to return, man, because he served on the Enterprise as well. Now, there's one person who I had reservations about, and when I heard that this person was going to be featured in Star Trek as one of the characters, and that was Khan Noonien Singh's ancestor, this Lieutenant Noonien Singh. Now, if I set aside her name and just look at her as a character, she is an awesome character, well written, a lot of depth. She reminds me a lot of this character right here from The Expanse. She reminds me so much of her, and I love this character from The Expanse. All right, now we got to know a lot about her. Man, from how and this right here, permission to act quickly, Captain. Oh, that right there just made me chuckle. But she's a very strong written character that has vulnerabilities and cracks in her and stuff like that that I hope that they explore moving forward in the season. And she's one of those interesting characters. We'll put it that way. Another standout to me was the actress who played Uhura. Everything about Uhura in this episode was spot on Uhura. From the interactions and the and how she dealt with the person who had just that runaway that had just got on a turbo lift. The way she dealt with him was straight up Uhura. Uhura is very professional on a bridge, but in her personal life, Uhura is one of the funniest, most musically talented, you know, real, personable, charismatic characters of the bridge crew. Especially, when you look at her original series, how she acted in, say, 10 Forward and everything like that, and how she was with the other officers off duty. Uhura was awesome. Um, they also introduced the father of a legacy character in this series, which yes served aboard the Enterprise as well. So when I heard, I was like, "Oh man, Luke." Okay, I can't get that. I can't really put that out. Y'all just gonna have to watch the episode on that. But um, the way that and when I say the way that they hand Pike and the writers of Pike had them handle this General Order 1, which would later become the Prime Directive, handle this General Order 1 situation was fascinating because they could have left after saving number one and everything like that. They could have left, they could have beamed away, but they realized that this was their problem, all right? That everybody who would die after that, anybody who died as a result of this technology, that was backward engineered from them observing Starfleet, that couldn't be on their conscience. So, what did the Starfleet people do? Ah, man, Pike. Look, let me tell you something. Take me to your leader. That was awesome. Pike is just an awesome cat. And through this episode, we got to have Pike go through a healing process that said, you know what, I'm gonna accept my future. Everything that I'm going to do up until that point is going to be devoted to bettering me for that moment, and everything like that. Everybody had a growth moment. Now I know there's going to be somebody who talks about, because I swear I did for a moment. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. I did for a moment. I had talked about the helmsman, and if I find a picture of him, I'm gonna put it right here. And I had said, "Oh man, here we go. There's gonna be somebody who's gonna be talking about virtue signaling with the new helmsman and everything like that." And the way that they included her character in there as well, there was no mention or no type of crutch or type of hey, well, I'm this, and I'm a kiss, I'm gonna be having this relationship with another girl. That's not what this was about. You could see that this would be her orientation, this would be her preference, but what was she doing? How did they display her as a character? And that's what we've been talking about. We know that these people exist. We know that these types of orientations, we know that these types of beliefs and customs and things exist in the future, and in Starfleet always has. But how are they portrayed as a character, and how does it fit into the story? How does it improve the story? You know what I mean? And the way that they had her in here, to whereas, yeah, we knew her orientation, but that wasn't a focus ever in the episode. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure later they will write an episode geared around that, in a way that's mature and informative and educational for people who may be ignorant of such things, or may be inspiring or represent a representative of people of that particular group. So there's a lot that's going on in this episode that I was just like, wow, this is a great return to form of Star Trek. And I was very impressed. You know, the speech that Captain Pike gave to the council members when he beamed down, and he showed the history of our world, how he broke it down to them, how he explained it with such compassion and with such um, groundedness. He wasn't preaching to them. He wasn't belittling them. He did it from a means of, hey, listen, you can choose either of these paths. You're free to do so, but this is the result. This is the end result of the path that you guys are on. I offer you a better path. I offer you membership into the Federation. Now, who could say no to this? Who could look at who can look at these images, which he broadcast all around the world? Who can look at these images and choose that path? You know what I mean? So the ending of the episode was optimistic. The musical score of the episode was great. It fit so well into the emotion and the story that they were telling. Now, let's talk about the augmentation. I used to always think that when they beamed down to a planet and they wanted to look like the indigenous people, right, that it was mostly prosthetics that they used. And think about the episode where Commander Riker had beamed down to that world and had got caught in that hospital. If I remember correctly, they took off his little hand thing. It was a prosthetic glove, and revealed that he had 5 fingers. It wasn't a drug that they gave or a serum that they gave to the crew that made them that slightly altered their DNA for a short time. But I did love the way that they explained it and how it wears off and how painful it is. And yes, Vulcans do scream in pain. Just see Next Generation, anything where they interrogated a Vulcan. Just see anything in the original series where they was interrogating Spock and he done screamed out in pain. So, speaking of, the way that they displayed the city in Vulcan Prime, that was beautiful. T'Pring, beautiful. And the same issues that T'Pring was having, of the reason why she chose, what was his name? Stahl, I believe his name. What was his name? I called him Jody in that episode. But the reason she chose Jody, right? Because Spock was out gallivanting around the galaxy in a Federation ship, you know, that was the reason why she decided to break off the marriage with Spock and everything like that. So it was very interesting that they got into it, you know, and wow, a Vulcan kiss and Vulcan physical sex. That's interesting. I remember the movie, what was it? The Search for Spock, right? Where Spock was a young lad and he was going through his bonfire, right? And Savick calmed him down by basically having Vulcan sex with Spock. And it was nothing like that. One of the things that Leonard Nimoy always put forth as far as the culture of Vulcan was that it was really, um, you can say it really aristocratic. It was above such things. And that was why Spock never struck people and never got into fights like that. Because Vulcans knew they were so intelligent, they were above such things. They knew the anatomy to where they could pinch, you know, and make you pass out. They don't have to throw punches and do all that kind of stuff. So to have them depict Vulcan sex to be so primitive kind of threw me off a bit, you know. So I wasn't expecting that. But that's basically my only, I wouldn't even call it gripe. That was basically my only, of the episode. But I also like how they blended. Okay, well, why didn't nobody know anything about Discovery? Because every time anybody's asked, I'm sorry, it's top secret. Even people with top secret clearance, you know what I mean? Oh, it's classified. It's classified. You know, so I like the fact that they were trying to at least bridge the gap and erase some of those things that were questionable as far as canon with the information of Discovery and Spore Drive and all those kind of things. So I didn't want this video to be too long. Again, I still have to do a video on season 2 of Picard because I wanted to do it based on the entire story and not episode 110 by itself. Because of the events of episode 110, I feel that I have to talk about the entire story of season 2 that they were trying to do because there are so many misses in that. But I think that the last episode really was. I'll tell y'all about it because I almost cried. I almost cried, man. I had to tear it up. I was doing it. Anyway, but this episode, Strange New Worlds, season 1, episode 1 was an outstanding and strong jumping off point for the crew of the USS Enterprise. It was an awesomely written episode. It was a return to form to the foundation of the principles and the purpose of what Star Trek and what Starfleet and what the Federation was envisioned to be. I am so glad that I got a chance to put this shirt on and to talk to you guys about this. Please let me know what you guys thought of the episode. Leave your comments in the comments section. Oh man, we got to talk so much about this. So much I left out, but I did that on purpose. I want you guys to watch this episode, like for real. This is an awesome episode. Let me know what you guys thought. So thank you guys for joining me. I look forward to reviewing all of the future episodes of this show. And look, please subscribe if you haven't. Ring the bell for any future content. And peace, recycle, and save the whales. And Star Trek is saved, it seems, people. Star Trek is saved. You guys be cool.